Thank you.
那今天很开心，我们邀请到我们新的品牌 Verpan 来原厂来帮我们做一个就是品牌到后前的一个教育训练，然后就是 Kim， 请大家给他一个掌声鼓励。
Thank you.
因为我们时间不多，所以我们就直接请他开始。
Thank you. Thank you very much. I have no idea what she said, but I'm sure it's correct. Okay. So I just say if I say too much, then you just hit me or something if I go too far. Okay. So my name is Kim, and I am the sales manager at Verpan, a Danish company, a family-owned company. And obviously, I'm very happy to be here and tell you all about the products that we make.
今天很高兴能够请到 Kim， 那他是这个丹麦公司 Verpan 这个品牌的业务经理。那这是一个也是家族经营的企业。
So we are part of Fransen Group. Fransen Group, which was started by Mr. Benny Fransen 45 years ago. So we've been manufacturing lighting for 45 years.
所以一刚开始的时候，这家公司呢，叫 Fransen Group， 早期呢，就45年前，他们是以制作灯具为主。
Under Fransen Group, we have three companies: Fransen Lighting, Fransen Projects, which is projects, so it's mostly hotels, and then Verpan, which is the youngest of the three, and that's where we have all the original Verpan products.
那在这个 Fransen Group 就是集团下面呢，他们经营3个品牌，一个呢是 Fransen 的灯具，那另外一个呢是 Project 部分，就是主要给饭店啊或是大型的商控空间的这个系统灯具的规划。那以及 Verpan 呢，这个是以Verpan 这个设计师为主的设计师品牌，也是他们企业集团下面最新的一个品牌。
Now, I won't go through that. Never mind. So this is Verpan, and I don't want to tell you about the products before I tell you a little bit more about Verpan, because he was probably the most influential of all the Danish designers ever.
在我们介绍产品之前呢，想要先跟大家介绍 Verpan 这个设计师，因为他属于近代设计史上非常具有影响力的一个人。那要了解这个 Verpan 品牌呢，当然要从设计师先开始了解。
He was very different than all the other Danish designers. He challenged the existing, and there's a reason why Philip Stark and Jasper Morrison, Tom Dixon, who's a huge fans of Verpan, and they always mention Verpan as their main influence.
就是在同时期呢，他算是非常具有影响力。那他个人特色是，他去挑战现有的已经有的一些设计或是商品，从中去做出不一样的改变。所以为什么他可以跟其他他刚提到那几位我们讲的这个巨子设计大师是并列齐名的。
So this is him. This is Verpan as a young boy, born in 1926, and I found this picture too late because I have a son myself, and I saw this picture. I wanted to dress him up in those clothes and take a picture of him. But I think he was 14 at the time, so he just said, no, I'm not doing that.
那这是他最近才找到的相片，是 Verpan 小时候的样子。他说他发现这个相片太晚，因为他自己有一个儿子，然后原本也想说应该也把自己的儿子打扮就是复古的风格，穿着这个水手的军服。然后可是因为他儿子，然后当相片上儿子已经14岁，完全就拒绝父亲的提议，说你没有要给你就是当玩偶，穿帅帅的拍照。
So this at the bottom here is Kåre Klint. Kåre Klint is considered the founder of Danish design. So everybody else that's come after him, Arne Jacobsen and Børge Mogensen and Finn Juhl and all these people are all inspired by Kåre Klint, except for Verpan, who went completely the opposite direction.
那讲到这个丹麦设计呢，或是北欧设计的主轴呢，我们一定会提到这个我有些讲 Kåre Klint， 他刚讲说是叫 Kåre Klint， 它其实是等于整个丹麦设计史上的这个就是丹麦设计学会的这个创办人。那几乎 所有的人都是大家之后，比如讲说我们所熟悉的这个阿尼亚先生啊、莫先生啊，甚至我们自己有的 Verpan 其实都是在 Coldplay 之后。那除了 Verpan 呢，跟他们这几位设计师走的风格是完全不一样的方向。
So Verpan was always very much liked by his fellow designers. The top here is Paul Henningsen, PH, who designed the famous artichoke lamp. Verpan used to date, or was actually married to Paul Henningsen's daughter for a while. And it was also Paul Henningsen who encouraged Verpan to do product design. That's the top one. So Paul Henningsen.
So Henningsen marries Verpan, Verpan marries his daughter.
Yes,
Okay.
but they were only married for 6 months.
Oh, that's
So
short.
it obviously didn't work out.
Alright. OK， 上面我们看到这个图片是另外一个很有名的这个丹麦根据设计师Paul Henningsen， 可能有些人有知道这个品牌。那他因为 Verpan 他自己个人独特风格，而且跟当代那个时候丹麦设计主流的方向是完全不一样的，所以在整个设计界里面呢，他也是非常受同好的敬重和喜爱的。那比如讲说，他跟 Henningsen 也是非常友好，而且呢，还曾经娶过他的女儿。短暂的娶了他的女儿，就是他们的婚姻只维持6个月。
It was also Paul Henningsen who got Verpan a job working for Arne Jacobsen, the bottom photograph. And a lot of the experts say that it was really Verpan when he was working for Arne Jacobsen who designed the ant chair, the first of the Series 7 chairs. So he was very much appreciated by his fellow designers.
那接着呢，这个 Henningsen 呢，透过他的介绍呢。Verpan 呢得以在这个亚先生，就下面这张就是 Arne Jacobsen， 就是我们讲 Arne Jacobsen 的工作室工作。那个时候呢 ，Verpan 呢，就我就知道说这个Arne Jacobsen 他有很有名的那个 armchair。那这张椅子呢，据说其实是Verpan 帮他设计的。那后来这也变成近代史上非常经典的单椅之一。所以呢，就可以理解到说Verpan 他的设计啊，以及他的这个工作，其实在同届同号里面呢，那个时候的其他设计大师也是非常的欣赏他的作品。
So all the other designers really liked him, but none of the Danish manufacturers wanted to work with him at the time because he challenged them. They knew they were working with woods and so on, and there he comes working with plastics and new ways of working and so on, and they didn't like it. So he couldn't find work in Denmark. He bought a camper van, and he traveled around Europe talking to different designers and architects and manufacturers and so on.
那在那个时候呢，虽然呢丹麦的设计界呢非常欣赏Verpan，可是呢，这个是工厂端或是生产制作端、工匠端呢，非常的不喜欢跟他一起合作，因为那个时候丹麦的主轴是取木材，但是他却想要挑战现有的材质以及设计，所以他常去想到其他一些形体，然后塑料啦，或者其他一些材质。所以呢，他就在1953年这边他就自己买了一个小型的这个 minivan， 开始环游全欧洲去找愿意跟他合作的这个厂商。
So Verpan was very much ahead of his time. He invented inflatable furniture, so he was the first to do that. He was the first to work with 3D molding in plastic, which became the Panton chair from Vitra that you guys know. The hard cone chair, when that was first launched in the US on Fifth Avenue in New York, the police had to go in and remove it from the window. It was causing a traffic jam outside. So that's how radical his designs were at the time.
由此可见呢，Verpan 在他的时期，他是非常走在时代的前端。比如说，他是第一个去做这个flexible， 就是那种冲洗式的家具的。那也是第一个呢去挑战这个3D 的塑料一体成型的，像我们那个 Vitra 这个品牌的 Panton chair， 然后还有去做 hard cone， 就是这种几何图形的。因为以前还是停留在4只脚嘛，那个时候，可是他却已经做出这种3角锥的造型，所以他在那个时期，他都是第一个去做这样子事情的。
Verpan was also the first to work with colors and how that changed the mood of people. Whereas today a lot of people work with colors in rooms and so on, but he was the first to really sort of scientifically sit down and find out how that sort of affects people's moods. And he was a highly sought after interior designer as well.
大家也知道说这个所谓的 Pantone 色票，的确呢也是出自 Verpan 之手，因为他也是第一个设计师去研究这个色彩对人类情绪的影响，所以他就非常的理性的用科学啦，还有心理学呢去创作一系列的这个 Pantone 的色票。
This is so anyway. So he bought a camper van. He traveled around Europe. He eventually settled down in Basel in Switzerland, which is also where he met Marianne Panton, the wife, the widow, that we now work very, very closely with. Marianne Panton has given us first right to his whole back catalogue. So although Werner Panton is no more, he's dead, we're still coming out with original Werner Panton pieces.
那在他这个周游欧洲列国之后，最后呢，他决定在这个瑞士的布鲁塞尔定居。那也是在那个时候呢，他遇到他的这个妻子。
So this is actually Marianne Panton's favorite photograph of her husband. She says it's because it's the only one of him drawing something. But I think it's probably the open shirt that has got something to do with it as well.
那他的妻子呢，Marianne Panton 呢，自己本身也是一个is she a photographer? You say?
She was a model. She was a Swedish model.
她是这个hold on, Swedish.
Yes, she was Swedish.
Swedish or Swiss?
Swedish.
Swedish.
Yes.
不好意思，是瑞典的那个巴塞罗那。对，然后不是，他的老婆是瑞典模特，然后这个模特呢就帮他老公拍照。那这一张照片呢是他最喜欢的一张，因为这是唯一一个就是 Verpan 本人在就是设计绘稿，就是画画的样子。不过听是说也有可能是因为他这个围开的这个衬衫展现了这个傲人的这个胸肌，有可能是因为这样他老婆最喜欢相片。
So on the sides here you have some examples of some of the drawings that he did. Some for products, some for environments, and so on. And at the bottom left are some of the pre-studies to the Panton chair from Vitra. But what he did, he went to the factories and he showed them what to do and he told them what to do. So some of the drawings are not very accurate. So whenever we launch a new product, either a product that's never been in production before, or relaunch a product, then we rely heavily on all the old prototypes to make it exactly like when he first designed it.
那这里面呢有许多 Verpan 的手稿。那 Verpan 呢，他们在生产家具的时候呢，是依据 Verpan 的这个手绘稿，但是因为里面有些东西并不是当初并没有生产过，所以你如果没有透过这个手工业生产的这个继承的这个过程里面去调整它的设计，其实很多东西是不精的，因为每个地方的细节要怎样，他们并不是很知道。所以为了就是维持 Verpan 设计，他们常常会回去到除了手稿之外，也会回到就是 Verpan 当初设计这个物品的，如果有 prototype 的话，他们会去看他的 prototype 参考来设计他作品，希望尽量去维持就是 Verpan 原本的设计。
So this is Werner Panton and Marianne Panton. Marianne Panton she was a Swedish model. And she was used in many of the old product photographs and so on. They used Marianne Panton. She won't tell me how old she is, but she is early 80s today, and she is still absolutely beautiful.
那 Marianne Panton 女士呢，现在还在世，大概她不愿意告诉别人她几岁了，不过大家估算她应该是80几岁。然后还是一位非常漂亮的女士。那由于她自己本身是模特，瑞典的模特，所以在 Verpan 很多作品里面，你会发现说有很多他们的合照，或者是就是请Verpan 就请他自己的妻子来当模特，来做这个情境照或者是图片的商品的这个宣传照。
So it wasn't until very, very late that Werner Panton was appreciated in Denmark. He was always much more appreciated out internationally than he was in Scandinavia. So the first big exhibition, of his works at the Design Museum in Denmark was until 1998, not very long ago.
那也是因为就是我们发现说 Verpan 那个时候并不是北欧，甚至也是丹麦他自己国家当地的设计主流，所以他其实在国际的知名度反而比较高。他一直到很后期才被整个北欧国家就是 认定跟欣赏，所以一直到1998 or 1998，所以一直到1998年的时候，才在丹麦有了 Verpan 的首次的个人的这个展览，就是我们现在昨天看到这个。
It was at the Design Museum in Denmark. Verpan was the curator for the exhibition. He also designed the poster for it, but sadly he died 10 days before the opening, so he never actually saw it.
那1988年其实也是比较晚期的时候，这个是在丹麦的设计博物馆，那他也自己亲自当这个 curator 策展人，然后也亲自设计了这个展览的海报。那很可惜的是，在这个展览开幕的前10天，他却过世，所以他自己本人从来没有办法亲自参加他自己在自己祖国的这个第一个的个人的这个策展。
But like I say, we work very closely with the Panton estate, with Marianne Panton, and we're very happy with the partnership that we have with her. We can go through his whole back catalogue, and he did design a lot of products. Some of them are too crazy, but there's still some really, really nice ones. So we are still coming out with new, original Verpan Panton designs.
那也因为就是 Verpan 就是他们其实跟Verpan Panton 的遗孀 Marianne Panton 关系非常的友好，所以他愿意将 Verpan Panton 生前所有的设计手稿全部都提供给 Verpan 做参考。那当然里面有些设计是太夸张的，但是还是有一些东西是非常就是以现代来看是非常的经典、非常的漂亮的。那他们会从当中选一些过去 Verpan Panton 的设计来生产制作成 Verpan 品牌旗下的这个产品。
I'm just going to show you some of these, some vintage pictures of some installations that he did, some amazing installations that are very famous. And one of the reasons why all these new famous designers like Tom Dixon and Philip Stark and so on, they always think of him as their main influence, because Verpan Panton almost single-handedly defined the whole color scheme of the 60s. All those colors was all something that he started with. So, and I'll just show you some images now.
那除了这个家具以及灯具设计之外呢 ，Verpan Panton 呢在那个时候呢又负责相当多的这个室内空间的部分，室内空间的设计。除了这个整个空间的规划跟产品商品之外呢，因为在60年代呢，他也重新诠释了色彩的表现以及传递。所以为什么像 Philip Stark 或是 Tom Dixon 等我们比较80、90年代的设计师，永远都会去仰望或瞻往参考 Verpan Panton 设计师，因为他在60年代不只是在场景设计、空间设计，他在颜色方面的诠释也非常的重要。那现在我们就会给大家看一些他个人的就是代表的这个室内设计的一些情境。
As you can see, he was not afraid of color. He used a lot of color. This is a restaurant in Denmark, a beautiful restaurant in the forest on the right on the beach. And in the early 70s, Verpan Panton did the complete interiors of this one.
那前面几张我们看到那个色彩是非常的迷幻丰富的。那还有刚刚这个是在丹麦的湖边的一个餐厅。
So this was the hallway before when Verpan Panton did it of that house.
所以就是外面非常的这个中古世纪的建筑，但里面就是非常前卫的。这个是刚刚那个餐厅里面的这个厅堂的部分，长廊的部分。
And this is the same hallway today.
那就是后来就是近代，就是20世纪最近就是从西代设计的厅堂变这样子。
This was the restaurant before.
那这是就是那个餐厅里面。
And there are all these thousands and thousands of balls in the ceiling. And he found this company that makes, globes with maps on. And he had thousands all wrapped with yarn. And all the columns are wrapped with yarn as well.
这屋顶上上千个球，可是它不单纯就一个球体，它球体外面其实有纺纱线在捆起来，所以每个球是有捆线的。所以其实可能这边看是因为是图片比较平，可是实际上在那边看，你看到那个球是有那个横纺线的纺纱线把它绑起来。
And this is the same restaurant today.
那这是这个餐厅今天的设计，之前是不能看到，在现在。
And this is really nice, but you see this everywhere in Scandinavia. Everything looks the same. And I think it's a shame that None of these old installations still exist. They're all gone, unfortunately.
那当然我们现在看到这比较极简的设计，其实刚刚这两个比较极简设计里面用的也都是 Verpan 设计的灯具，只是后面我们看到这个所谓我们现在的这个北欧设计风格，他个人觉得说还蛮可惜的，因为现在全北欧你都可以看到所谓的北欧极简风格，可是早期像 Verpan 那种的就是那种比较抽象的啦，然后比较那种 Space Age style 啊，比较多色彩丰富的那些设计呢，很可惜的就是都被裁掉，都没有。而其实现在回来看觉得蛮可惜的。
This was their house in Basel in Switzerland where they lived most of their lives, and it looks quite normal from the outside. It's when you go inside it gets a little bit crazy, and I'll just show you some pictures from there so you can see how they lived.
这是他们在瑞士巴塞尔的那个家，然后外面看起来好像一般房屋，但是一进去你就会知道，哇，完全不是这么一回事。
This was his office.
这是他平常的工作的地方。
That's 250,000 seashells in the ceiling.
这是那个针是由贝壳做的，然后也是上千片。
The ceiling was taken down a long time ago, though. It was a bit of a haven for spiders. So.
然后就是这个很遗憾的是，这个很漂亮的这个贝壳的这个里面的这个天顶灯饰啊，已经全部拆掉，因为呢，这个它是那个已经完全变成蜘蛛的窝，蜘蛛很爱那个地方，所以就只好把它全拆了。
Unfortunately, this house doesn't exist. Well, the house does exist, but they sold it. So this whole thing is gone as well. And I wish they had turned it into a museum, but it's all gone, unfortunately.
因为后来他们把这房子卖了，所以新的屋主也把里面整个室内设计装潢都拆了。大家就很可惜说啊，当初没有被捐出来变成博物馆。
And then this is my Panton and Verpan outside. This is another product that's actually not in production at the moment. Vitra has a smaller single version, but this particular piece is not in production. So this is another piece that we could potentially put in production if we wanted to at some point.
那这个是我们看到的另外一个他的这个座具的设计，他跟他老婆那 Vitra 有一个比较小的版本，那他说现在当然这个是没有生产制作，但假如真的有人非常爱而且很想要的话，就是要把它呈现于世。
Anyway, that was just a little bit about Werner Panton. He is essential to what we do. All the products that we do have been designed by Werner Panton. So I just wanted you to know a little bit about him before we went on to the products. Now we'll start with the lighting, which is where we started, where the parent company started 45 years ago. So we'll start here.
那先前呢就是Verpan 设计师的简单的一个介绍。那接下来我们要进入这个 Verpan 的主商品的部分。首先跟大家介绍的是灯具。
Yeah, okay. So the fun lamps, the seashells, the biggest of our collection. Going from smaller ones, you have the Fun 11, which is one of our absolute best sellers here at the bottom, with the table lamps, floor lamps, and so on, and then all the way up to the Fun 8 on the right that has 6,500 seashells in it. So that's a very, very big one.
接下来呢，跟大家介绍的呢是 Fountain 灯。那这个吊灯呢，是由这个贝壳，一片片贝壳串制而成的。那也是他们品牌旗下呢最大盏的吊灯。因为它的我们有看到它有不同的尺寸，它有1盏的或是3盏的不同的这个组合以及垂吊方法。那像最大的那一盏呢，有6500片贝壳所组成。
So the seashells, it's originally this was made from mother of pearl. That's endangered, so we don't use mother of pearl seashells anymore. Of course, we use seashells called capiche seashells from the Philippines, and we only use shells from state-controlled, state-certified farms.
那早期呢，当然就是比较顶级的这个贝壳都会用珍珠母贝，因为它的光泽跟色彩。因为呢，这个已经是属于保护鱼类了，就等于不要去破坏海洋生态，所以他们改用这个菲律宾的 key the shell from the seashell from Philippines.
Yeah, from capiche.
Capiche.
Yeah.
就是他们用这个 capiche 贝壳来做。那这个是有经过就是政府 过这个合法的生产制作的，所以他们其实就是会去采用这个合法跟环保的原物料，然后去伤害这个海洋生态。
You will find plenty of copies of these particular lights, but there's a very big difference in the quality between the copies and the originals. What they do is, the capiche shells are very flat shell. They take the shells, they stack them, they stamp out the discs, and they polish them. And that goes for ours as well as for copies. Do you want me to go on? Okay, I'm going to tell a lot more if you want to do that.
那首先呢，他们的这个贝壳跟吊灯呢是用这个 capiche 贝壳。那 capiche 贝壳呢，它有特色是它比较平，然后所以是把这个贝壳就是敲成片片碎片以后呢，再去把它弄成这个圆形。那当然，现在有一个重点就是，因为这台灯具大家应该蛮也除了看过这台灯具之外，也应该知道说很多吊饰或是灯具其实都是它的仿冒品。那他现在就要来讲说仿品跟正品的差别，因为他说其实他们制作的跟仿冒品其实贝壳这种天然东西，但是在质感上差很多。那刚刚这个 capiche 贝壳呢，他们用，那有些仿品也用这个贝壳，那差异性在哪里呢？他继续讲。
So what we say to them is they can stack a maximum of 3 shells, and they can only use the middle part, which is the thickest and the strongest bit. When they do the copies, they'll stack maybe 15 or 20. They'll do the middle, the sides. You'll have some that are bent, some that are straight, some are cracked, some are thin, some are thick, and they're all very, very different. Then after we've done this, we give them a clear layer of lacquer to protect them against UV, against the sun. And on the copies, they don't do that either.
它是 capiche 贝壳，所以那种贝壳有厚度嘛，所以其实它有分中外层这样。那他们 Verpan 呢会采用就是中间最坚实的部分，也是色彩光和饱和度，就是一来你厚度够，所以你比较坚固，然后再来就是你的光泽会比较好看。可是因为仿品成本考量，它只是仿冒品嘛，所以它这个是不管，就是它的贝壳全部能够用的就用，它不会管说你外层内层甚至好几层的它都用，可是他们只用中间最好的那一层，所以你整个本来就是因为贝壳是天然的嘛，你们知道说有些贝壳其实或者颜色一定不一样嘛，那他们只用贝壳中间最好的那一个部分之外呢，做好这个贝壳片之后呢，他们也会在上面做一个就是烤漆的处理，贝壳的亮光烤漆的处理，去保护这个贝壳层，因为那个贝壳呢，我们都知道天然的东西去晒太阳的时候，或是有那个 UV 光线、紫外线的照射之下，其实它会变色啊，或是会变质的。可是因为他们有做这个保护层的漆料的这一道手续，所以呢就不会有这个问题。那这也是Verpan 的产品跟仿品的最大的差异。
All the rings that are used to connect these seashells are all made from stainless steel to make sure that they don't rust. And also on the copies, that maybe, if it even is steel, it's normal steel, so it will rust, or maybe it's just a piece of string. So that's another difference.
再来呢，就是这个挂串这个贝壳片的这个金属零件。那像这个我们看到的金属扣环啊、金属框架，全部都是由不锈钢合金来做的。那也许外面有人会用钢合金，可是也许它不是那么好的不锈钢材质，也许它外面的保护层没有做的那么好，所以它比较容易氧化或是生锈。可是它们呢，就是这个过程会比较缓慢，而且比较不容易生锈的意思吧。
Everything that we do is contract certified. And we do that with all our products, including this, to make sure that if you do sell it to a contract, then it will last. And we have a very good example I'll show you later of a hotel that bought copies and then came back and bought the originals because the copies had broken. So that's always a good sign.
那他们的产品呢，都有做所谓的这个 contract certificate，就在上控空间呢，其实比较符合它的一些安规。那它的东西都是有符合的安检。那所以等一下也会给大家看一些他们就是负责的一些室内空间灯具的设计的部分，那些都是有符合安检。
Now, when it comes to delivery, it's always a fine line for us between making it as easy as possible, but making sure it gets to you, to the clients in one piece with no transport damage. Most of our products come fully assembled, but with the fun lamps, that's just not possible, unfortunately. So there will be some assembling on site.
个灯其实是要组装的，所以在销售这盏灯的时候，when you say assembly,
Sorry?
when you say assembly, so it's like assembling of the light.
Yeah, okay, so I'll just go on. So there will be some assembling on site. What happens is on any of these lights, so for instance, the Fun 11 that you have here, the wire, the frame, everything is fully assembled. All the different strands are fully assembled with the seashells, but to protect them, they're individually wrapped in a separate box. So on site, you have to unwrap them and just hook them on at the top. It's easy, but it does take time. But it's the only way that we can ensure that it gets to the client in one piece.
所以这个吊灯除了吊挂之外，因为我们看到它是比较精细，它是一串串的贝壳。那像我们自己有的这个Verpan 11右下这一个，它其实来的时候呢，当然它整个框架是组好的，可是呢，它这贝壳串的部分，因为怕刮伤，所以它是每一串都分开包的。那的确就是我们看到它这样一圈一圈一圈的，然后要挂一串串的贝壳，其实是要拆封之后自己一串一串挂上去，所以在组装的时候是要一点时间。所以你要必须把那个穿布贝壳挂上去。那如果它不这样子分开包装的话，怕在运输过程中会受损，所以它必须这样子。
But even on, say, the big one, the Fun 8, it's the same for all of them. So the wire and everything, the complicated, is all fully assembled. All these different long strands, fully assembled, but in a different box. So you'll have one box that says inner ring, inner middle ring, outer middle, and outer ring. So it's easy, and there's assembly instructions. So it's very, very easy to do, but it does take time.
那当然，所有东西都是组装好的，我们只要把它挂上去。像比如讲说，连这最大这一盏灯饰，那它每一串都是弄好的，它包装的时候也会分开包，所以你看到的时候呢，它也会写得清楚，说这是最内圈、第一圈、第二圈、第三圈，然后最外圈。所以你只要按照它讲的那个哪一圈挂上去就好。那当然还有这个组装说明书也是非常重要，就是一切都是很清楚的，你只要按照它的这个步骤画就好了。只是挂这个灯真的会花时间，所以跟客人来说，就是我刚才讲说，这要在你家吊挂的时候呢，要花一点时间哦，因为不是只能这样挂。
So you have a couple of the Fun lamps here. All the other lamps are actually in stock in Denmark, so they can be sent out very, very quickly. Inside the box of all our products is a certificate to prove that it's an original, which has been signed by the person in the factory in Denmark that's put it together and everything else. And there's also white cotton gloves inside the box to assemble it and put it up and so on. And that goes for all our products.
那这个每盒除了他们这个包装会分箱的把这个贝壳跟这个主灯架装好，然后每个贝壳串它是分开包装的，然后里面附有组装说明书，还有一个很重要就是他们有这个所谓的这个 certificate， 就是产品证明书，也都附在这个装箱内。
I'm just going to show you a few references that we have done to show you how they work. This is Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie's house, or one of their houses in Malibu.
这个是好莱坞那个银色夫妻档，这个安裘丽娜·裘丽跟布莱德比的其中一个家，在美国加州的这个马里布海滩的这个别墅里面，就是用这个Verpan灯。
The reason I think Verpan is the best of the Danish designers also when it comes to lighting is because it's never just a lamp. There's always something extra. With the Fun lamps, you get this beautiful, any kind of breeze, and you get the beautiful sound from the seashells. You never see the actual light source, and in the evening they become these glowing balls of light, which is really, really nice.
那为什么他个人觉得说，为什么 Verpan 是丹麦灯具设计的这个很厉害的，这个是很厉害的这个丹麦设计灯具设计师，很厉害的丹麦设计师。主要原因是因为它的灯具从来就不是一盏灯具而已。比如讲说，像我们现在看到这个Verpan灯，它这有贝壳串成的，其实你完全从任何角度看不出光源，你看不到灯泡，你不知道光源从哪里来，而且它是一个就看似好像是一个装饰品。那比如讲说，像蛮多人会在海边的别墅放这盏灯具的时候，风轻吹来的时候，你还可以听到贝壳变 晚上的时候呢，它看起来因为贝壳它的这个晕光的效果啊，会使这个整串它的这个造型看起来就像是一个灯球的那种感觉，所以不管是白天啊、晚上啊，然后透过这个微风轻吹，它整个给你的这个听觉、视觉效果，还有早晚展现出不同的氛围呢，是就比一般灯具还要更多的，所以它是一个，所以它为什么就是很欣赏Verpan那个 Verpan 灯具的一个特色。
So this is the W Hotel in Miami, and this is the one where we were specified with the fun lamps, and then we were told that we were going to get the order, and then everything went quiet. The contractor, without W Hotel knowing about it, bought copies. 1 year later, they came back and they bought the originals. Seashell is a natural material. Any natural material reacts to sunlight. There's a lot of sun in Miami. So in 1 year, the copies had just crumbled and fallen to pieces. They came back, they bought the originals, and they've been up ever since. So it all worked out well.
那现在我们看到呢，是美国迈阿密海滩的这个 W Hotel 室内也是有看到用这个Verpan的。那我们都知道说，这样大型商务空间的时候，有时候会有承包商跟设计师可能会为了要节省这个成本，那在这个案子里呢，就是这个 W Hotel 他们是指定要 Verpan 的灯具，可是呢，他的承包商、他的这个建商呢，却为了节省成本呢，买了仿品。谁到1年之后呢，因为大家都知道迈阿密阳光就是很大，每天都是太阳，然后相对旅馆又采购地方设计。1年之后呢，这些贝壳呢，就纺织品的这个贝壳呢，都因为阳光日晒的关系都脆化，所以全部都碎掉，就开始碎，会脆化。所以呢，其实呢，后来呢，他们就是又转向 Verpan， 然后跟他们定制了这个Verpan的，然后全部都改用他们的灯具。所以这个是另外一个纺织品跟整体的差异，那是打中国的案例给大家做参考。
We also do the fun lamps, or some of the smaller ones, in metal, fun metal, which is a completely different look and completely different sounds from the discs.
那这个也有金属版本，但金属版本所创造出来的氛围跟这个贝壳又不一样，然后还有它这个声音也会不同，就是风吹的时候它也会敲击的声音，金属的声音跟贝壳的声音又不一样，所以虽然是同设计，可是两个灯具展现出来的风格完全不同。
I actually thought I had a picture in here from Carl Hansen. A lot of our colleagues in the industry, Carl Hansen and Fritz Hansen, and a lot of the Italians as well, use our lighting in their sort of advertising and their brochures because it complements their furniture really, really well. So, but I don't have it unfortunately, so I can't show that one to you.
那其实像我们知道那个 Carl Hansen 跟 Fritz Hansen 这另外一个丹麦家具品牌，他们的情境主义 Verpan 里面或者是装潢里面，其实也都是搭配Verpan 的灯具，或者你去他们 showroom 在欧洲啊或在美国，其实都会看到他们用 Verpan 的灯具，都是一起做配置。
That was the fun lamps, which is the biggest of our collection. Moon lamp is another product that you guys have. One of my personal favorites, one of the first things he designed back in 1960. It's a really nice, beautiful lamp. It's perfect for you guys because it comes flat packed, but fully assembled. So all you got to do is sort of unfold it, and then it's straight assembled straight away.
接下来是我们也有引进的这个 Moon Lamp， 它是1960年设计，也是Kim 的人最喜欢的一台灯之一。那这个灯呢，运送过来的时候呢，它是平的，就是圈，那个圈圈是平的。那你只要把它一展开就好，然后它就呈现这个月亮的形状。
The lamels are made from metal, so it's powder coated metal, or it's the brass plated one or the copper plated one. So we do both of them in 2 different sizes, a 35 and a 44 centimeter. And then we have just last year we launched a very, very big one, which is 1.5 meter diameter, which is huge.
那这个Moon Hansen 它之前是35、45两个直径的尺寸，后来他们有进1米以上，就有出最大款。那这个灯具呢是由金属做成的粉烤，那也有就是有这种粉烤的这种素色的，然后也有像黄铜的金属色泽的，可以供选择。
So these are the very, very big ones. We did them for the High Court of Denmark. So there's several hundreds of the smaller ones, and then together with my Jannepanton, we developed these very, very big ones, and they're 110 kilos, and you can almost walk inside them. They're that big, but we do have them in stock in Denmark, so we can send them next week if you want.
所以我们现在看到这个最大展，真的很大。那这是他们跟Verpan就是Verpan的遗霜一起开发的产品。那这个我们看到几个情境图，真的非常漂亮。这盏灯具呢，重达就是120公斤。
The Verpan signature is always somewhere discreetly on all our products. So on the moon lamps, it's on the inner lamel, the very inner lamel on them. On the spiral lamp, which is another one that you guys have, it's on the ceiling rose at the top. His signature is on there as well.
那像我们现在要跟大家介绍的是另外一个也是蛮知名的灯具 spiral 吊灯。那每一盏呢，这个 Verpan 吊灯上面都有 Verpan 的这个签名，但是都是在非常隐秘的地方。比如讲说，像 Moonlight 是在最里面那一片。对，那像这个的话是在那个吸顶盖，就吊灯的上方。
Spiral lamp is another one of our absolute best sellers. We've got the two on the right, which are on the frame, same frame as the fun lamps, and then on a wire, and then you've got the single, double, and triple on the nylon cords as well. And we do them in silver, in gold, and in multicolor.
那这盏灯呢，也是品牌旗下的热卖品。色的金色的，那你有发现它这个垂吊的部分有1有3，就是有1根的，然后有3根线，你看就是同款式，可是垂吊方法。
And again, I've seen copies in metal and I've seen them in glass, but you never get the effects that you do with the original ones. This is made from these spirals are made from acrylic. Acrylic, which is very light, but also very, very strong. And do you want me to go on? Okay.
那 spiral 这盏灯呢，其实呢也有非常多的好品，但是呢它的质感，其实呢如果大家有去看一些键盘，或是刚好有一些亲朋好友买了一些新的有助家居设计的这个案子，走那种比较现代风。其实你会发现里面有很多是用spiral 这盏灯，大部分都是仿品。那仿冒品是因为他们用的这些what's the material?
Acrylic.
Acrylic 这个 acrylic 就是他们其实用亚克力，然后再去镀这个金属的颜色。那其实做要镀金属不是说多难的技术，可是因为现在很复杂，可是你要做到真的很惊艳的效果，首先你亚克力要够平滑，然后你在那个镀上那个金属色泽的时候才会漂亮。可是仿品的话，就是因为他们是真的，因为亚克力说来讲，亚克力是比较贵的，那它就可以又轻又光滑，但是其他塑料可能没有办法，所以你看两盏灯的时候，其实是可以对照出来那个差异性和效果。
The problem with the acrylic is that you need a mold for them, and the mold is very, very expensive. So when they do copies, it's easier just twisting a piece of metal or a piece of glass, but metal and glass is too heavy. Because this is so light, either from the heat from the light source or again any kind of draft, any kind of wind, they'll spin. And you get this almost hypnotizing effect where they look as if they're going up or down, which is really cool.
那这个，因为这个亚克力这个材质只能用这个那个铸造，一定要用那个钢骨成型，就你一定要在模具里面成型，不是特殊成型过程，所以你要用模具。那模具其实是很贵的。那仿品的话，通常就是玻璃片。还有金属片，那玻璃跟金属都可以直接转，所以它没有那么，就是它可能就一片片玻璃或者一片片金属，那就会比较重，然后就不像说你是这个亚克力材质再去上这个金属颜色，其实这个质感效果会差很多。那因为它们比较轻，所以风吹的时候它会这样晃动，会给你这种视觉的效果，所以它每盏灯都有比较它想表达一些视觉效果。
So we can do custom work as well for if you have clients that need some special sizes. Because the standard ones are in stock in Denmark, we only need about 1 week to do custom work, so we can do that very quickly as well.
那它因为这个也是蛮多商空空间可以使用，所以说现有的尺寸，假如我们这个专案有需求的话，可以克定。
These are just some of the references. Then we do them in gold as well. You have this one in gold as well. Miu Miu is our biggest, well, Prada is our biggest single client, and they bought 400 gold spirals for all their Miu Miu shops just for the Christmas window. So they used them for about a month, and then I have no idea what they did with them afterwards.
所以就是他们这个史上就是一次购买性最多的这个客人呢，就是 Prada。有一年的耶诞节，Miu Miu 的这个Windows Display 呢指定呢要用这个金色spiral，一口气呢订了400盏。但是呢，因为Christmas 就短短1个月，所以整个 Christmas season 之后呢就拆掉了。那也不知道说他把这400盏都放哪。
This is actually my little sister's cafe in Denmark. I did give her a very good price, of course, on the lights.
好，现在图片看到的这个咖啡馆是 King 的小妹自己开的。对，那当然里面是用 spiral 灯具，他说有，他要给大家很好的这个优惠。
And we've done Lindt chocolate and different other things. Gold, silver is still the biggest seller we have on the spiral lamps, but gold is definitely getting bigger and bigger. So we sell more and more of the gold.
接下来看到的是那个 Lindt 巧克力店，用金色，spiral 其实银色卖的比较好，可是这几年金色的有逐渐的这个业绩销售的增长。
The next product is another product that you guys have, the onion lamps. Comes in a table lamp and 2 different size pendants. The smaller one and the big one. The small one is actually not that small. They are quite big, and they're very heavy as well. It is also just like the moon lamp made from metal, so it's metal lamels that's been powder coated.
接下来看到的是这个洋葱跟 onion light， 它有桌灯，也有这个吊灯，还有小盏跟大盏，但是小的其实也没有那么小啦，所以它是一个尺寸比较大型的灯具。那因为它跟这个 moonlight 一样都是金属再去做这个粉烤漆的处理，所以它蛮重的。
And just like the other lamps, you don't see the actual light source. It's all about the the light that comes from between the layers of the onion and reflections and so on.
那也跟其他 Verpan 设计一样，是它的灯具你都看不到光线，可是却有很漂亮。因为像onion light 也是一片片的，可以看到很漂亮的光影，所以造型跟光影的表现都非常的美。
I'll quickly see it here. It's a Carl Hansen one. The VP Globe, which is another one that you guys have. The VP Globe is probably the most iconic of all his lights. It is at the permanent exhibition at the Museum of Modern Art in New York and at so many design museums around the world.
接下来呢，就是有这个 VP Globe pendant， 这个针呢就是像MoMA还有各大设计博物馆全部都有收藏这一张针。
It's a nightmare for us to make, but that's not your problem, of course. Verpan was always very playful in his designs, but when it came to quality, there was no compromise. It had to be perfect.
那设计这盏灯具呢，非常不容易。其实到现在他们觉得设计这盏灯具真的很难，不过这是他们的问题，而且我们不用去想这些。那 Verpan 他虽然在设计上非常大胆，而且喜欢尝试新的东西，然后充满趣味性，可是在这个品质要求上，其实他从来不妥协，所以变成说他们在生产这灯具的时候，就是过程还蛮辛苦的。
We do them in 2 different sizes. There's a 40 and a 50 centimeter. Back in the 60s, when these were done by Louis Paulsen, there was also we do them in 40 and 50. Back in the late 60s, when these were done by Louis Paulsen, who did them first, another Danish manufacturer, there was also a 60 centimeter. The problem back then is it's the acrylic sphere. It's that acrylic ball that's the big problem. Back then, you had to accept a certain amount of small scratches on the acrylic, just because of production methods at the time. Today, it's possible to make it perfect, so that's what we do, of course.
那当然，这个是40-50公分的是他们的，然后60呢是 Louis Paulsen 的，所以呢，就是在那个时候就是不同的尺寸分别有2个品牌制作这样子。那在当时的技术上呢，最困难的是外层这个亚克力球，因为以前 这生产技术就是不是这个材质的问题，也不是说技术不够好。以现在来讲的话，看过去当然是，可是就当时来讲，不是因为这原因，就是只要这生产技术生产出来的这个亚克力球，一定会有刮痕，所以那个时候的人们必须接受这个灯具上有刮痕，所以没有办法做出来就是这样。那当然现在科技进步，这个问题就突破了这个问题。
Again, because it's acrylic, we need a mold. It's a very, very big mold you need for these lights. Each mold costs about $200,000. We have two sizes. Yes. We have two sizes, so that's 2 molds. We can only use the mold for 2 years, then we got to put everything apart, polish everything, and put it back together again. There's just one lady in the factory in Denmark that assembled all these lights. She's wearing white cotton gloves when she's doing it. It takes her 1 hour to assemble just one lamp. All the shells that come through the mold are tested against the blue light. And tiniest little scratch, we can't use them, they're rejected. 30% are rejected, goes back in and get remelted. So it's quite a complicated process.
那因为我刚刚有讲过说，亚克力他们把它射出成型，它要用模具制造，所以呢，他们一定要模具。那因为这个模具很贵，他说那模具要200万美金一个，不是整个生产做，就一个模具，光是那个模具就要200万美金那边。那所以他们有2个尺寸，所以就不同的模具，而且因为那个模具你使用久了之后啊，它一定会老旧嘛，所以呢每2年就要换一次模具。那他们所有的这个球体呢，就是组装啊，还要再组装。然后除此之外呢，这里的亚克力球，他们都会用蓝光来做检测，从那个蓝光来看说这个球体是不是有瑕疵，因为还是会有刮痕。那为什么他没办法做到没有呢？就是呢，他可以把这个有刮痕的呢全部都报销，但是呢，这个不良率真的也有点高，他们要淘汰30%，就30%的成品其实是被淘汰的。那这淘汰的可能就是要再重新，就塑胶重新去做这个模具的这个成型。所以其实整个过程就蛮复杂，为了做出这个晶莹剔透、没有任何刮痕的球。
We have the 2 different versions. This one here, and then the other one that we had with the this one. So these are the 2 versions that we have of the VP globe. The one on the left is the one with polished aluminium discs inside. The one on the right is with glass discs inside. So the one on the right does give off a lot more light than the one on the left.
我现在看到2个版本，右边跟左边的这个。那除了这个里面的这个颜色，就是那个金属部分的这个结构颜色不同之外，右边的那个中间那一层是金属的，然后左边的这个是玻璃的，所以左边的这个其实它的那个透光性会比较好。所以如果客人想要灯光强度足的照明的话，要选左边这个。
But it's a beautiful light sculpture, as you can see. And this particular one is definitely a light sculpture. There is no downlight. It doesn't give a lot of light. We are very, very strange in Denmark. So you will have, everybody in Scandinavia buy this light and they put it over their dining table. They can't see what they're eating, but they don't care. That's the one they want.
那这个就是也是他们品牌经典的经典，然后也是所有灯具里面造型最奇特。因为如果没有把它挂起来，其实大部分人不会觉得它是灯具。那很多人在丹麦的他们蛮多人都会买这样灯具，就挂在那个餐桌台上餐厅的空间。反正他不管怎么样，每一个都想办法挂一颗这个在家里，对。所以有时候吃饭的时候你不会真的抬头吃饭，他不管，大家就想办法找地方挂。
But we are very, very strange, also to the extent that you can have a break-in into a house and all the money's still there, the jewelry's still there, the TV and everything is still there. The only thing that's missing is the egg chair from Fritz Hansen, the VP globes, all the design classics.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
This is not true?
No. So we now put a serial number on all of these so you can track them down again afterwards.
那就是在丹麦，他说在丹麦这个国家呢，真的是他也讲说我们的民族性真的很奇怪，这跟别人都不一样，就常常因为我以为他在开玩笑，他说没有，这是真的，就是他们会有一些小偷啊闯空门进去之后呢，他也不偷钱，也不偷什么设备，他们可能会去偷这个 Fritz Hansen 设计的这个蛋啊，或是呢就是这盏 Verpan 设计的 VP Globe 灯具，就把这个灯具就拿钱 跟灯具把它搬来搬去卖。那也因为这样，就是为什么他们单卖的灯具在上面都会有这个序号，因为这样他们就有几号几号，什么时候生产，什么卖，什么时候出厂的嘛，所以这个灯具再出来的时候，他们就会知道说它这个可能是被偷的或什么之类的，就是他可以去追踪它的这个产品。
So we are very strange. This is actually a Tom Dixon project in New York. So Tom Dixon is a huge fan of Verpan.
这是 Tom Dixon 在纽约的另外一个商控的专案，也是用了 Verpan 的灯具。那他表示说，Tom Dixon 其实也是这个 Verpan 的粉丝。
I'll just show you a few more of these in Madrid, where we put them on red cords and sort of drop them down. Yes. The Ark is a famous restaurant in Paris.
如果大家对这个巴黎美食有兴趣的话，这是在巴黎2餐。
Last of the lights I want to show you is the pan top. A very cute little bell-shaped pendant and table lamp in matte black, matte white, the ones that you have in stock here, and then also in chrome, copper, brass, and black chrome. Very, very well priced. And the table lamps do really well as well. It's a solid base on the table lamps, so they are quite sturdy as well.
接下来呢，也是我们最后呢要跟大家介绍一盏灯具是 Pan Top， 有吊灯跟桌灯。那我们看到它这个是中型的这个灯罩，那其实也非常受欢迎，因为这盏灯造型上看起来非常的轻巧，可是实际上它有一定的重量，因为它这个底部的那个底座的部分小巧，可是蛮精实的，所以它其实整个重量是够的，然后是非常稳固的一盏桌灯。
It's again a metal shade. And we have it in one size, and he designed them in two different sizes, and we're looking at launching the bigger one that he also designed originally.
那目前是只有一个尺寸，可是未来可能会再生产大的尺寸。那颜色的话有，因为是金属，所以是粉好，白色、黑色。那有金属的色泽，就是银的、红跟黄红。
That's really the lighting. We do more lighting, but I'm not going to show you that. For all the lighting, it's contract certified, like I said. You can also use any light source you want. So anything that you want, you can use. And they're all dimmable as well. There's no dimmer on the cord, but they are all made so they can be dimmed.
So that is if they want to be dimmable, they have to change the switch by themselves.
You can either put the switch on the cord or you can do it on the wall. It depends on, but yes.
所以这些所有的灯具呢，就是在有符合安规，不是安规，但是就是我们台湾有台湾自己的安检，就表示一定就是如果要给台湾的用的话，不知道你的客人业主需求是什么，台湾的部分另外在讲，但是它是有符合的，就是丹麦的或是欧盟的真正的安检跟安规。那在这个灯具的部分呢，因为了这个需求，他们其实所有灯具都是可以做这个可调光的，但是它没有不可调光的开关，是说如果他家里的系统灯具里面有可调光的这个控制开关的话，那是可以接上去，它是可以可调光。那不然的话就是开跟关这样子。所以你跟客人讲说，不能跟他讲说这是可调光，是除非他自己家里先可调光。如果你卖给他说开关开关开关，没有那个可以调，不是这样。这是Wendy这边就采购负责人是这个品牌采购负责人是Wendy，那他有说就是我们这次引进的Verpan的这个灯具美感灯呢，都是有经过这个台湾的电检，这个可以跟客人说。
Yes, okay. So that's really the lighting. Then 4 years ago, working so closely with Marianne Panton, she's been asking us for a number of years if we would consider relaunching some of the lighting, some of the furniture as well. So 4 years ago, we launched the first furniture collection.
那4年前呢，这个 Verpan 的遗孀呢，达米 Panton 呢，有跟他讨论过说，希望呢可以生产一些Verpan 早期的一些家具，所以他们也在近几年呢开始推出了它的一些椅子还有沙发类型的产品。
This is the system 123. There's a dining chair and in the standard and deluxe version, and then the lounge chair in the standard and the deluxe as well. You guys have the lounge chair in the standard version so far.
那现在我们看到的是这个 System 123代理，我们有进它的这个 Lounge Chair 版本，因为它有 Chair Lounge Chair，那我们进的是比较宽的那一版。
It was originally done in the early 70s, and it was manufactured by Fritz Hansen. It was designed for a project, a mixed residential and restaurant project in Copenhagen, and it's got a beautiful profile. He wanted sort of come growing out of the floor, so it's got this beautiful profile from the side.
这个是当初呢，在哥本哈根的一个民宅跟餐厅，就是复合式的一个建筑，所设计的。那所以它是整个一个 profile 里面的一个产品。
The lounge chair, well, all of them, but the one that you have is the lounge chair in the back. And let me just get some of those pictures actually. So this is the one that you guys have. And it's got that beautiful profile from the side. It's very, very comfortable. It's got a bit of a give to it. It swivels, so it turns. But if you don't want it to swivel, you can actually turn it around and you can lock it in place.
我看到说这种现场造型非常的漂亮，呈这个 S 曲线折形的。那这椅子其实它都是可以旋转。那它很棒是你不用去想说它是可旋转或不可以旋转，因为每一张都可以旋转。不要旋转的时候呢，它有一个就是可以锁住的地方，你把它就是开关就是关起来，或者等于讲说把它锁起来的话，它就会不会转来转去。
It's a brushed aluminium base with the Verpan signature underneath. Underneath the base, you have black rubber feet. Now, depending on the floor that your client have, they may need felt feet. That is always in the box. So you don't have to worry about anything. Inside the box is the lock if you don't want to swivel, and also felt feet for underneath if you need that. It's always in the box, always included.
那这个 Verpan 这家公司也真是太贴心了，因为这做就是说，就是你不用去担心，卖给客人说这是可旋转或不可旋转，我会给你调那开关就好。那这个底部呢，都是这个铝合金，上面是用法丝纹，雾面的铝合金。那底部呢，因为一定是有防刮的设计嘛，一般都是这个橡胶，他们也是。可是如果有些客人因为家里有些比较材质，或是比较就希望说是用这个我们所谓的扭粘。羊毛毡贴纸嘛，羊毛毡贴的话，盒子里面有附，盒子里面有附，你就从盒子里面贴上去就好。如果不要的话没关系，那就是橡胶垫。要的话就贴上去就好了。
Originally, when Fritz Hansen did this, it was just a one-piece steel frame, and that was it. There was only one type of fabric, very elastic fabric, that you pull over and you zip it up in the back. Today, visually it looks exactly the same, but inside it's very different. We have springs in the seat, springs in the back, it's fully foamed, so it's contract certified, but that also means that we can use all these different fabrics and leathers and so on.
其实这张椅子最早呢是由 Fritz Hansen 设计，那时候设计的话，里面那一块是提层型，然后外面的话就是用有弹性的布料去强调那个曲线跟色彩。那它们呢里面呢，其实就是你看到是一样设计，可是做法非常不同，所以它是在每个地方是有不同的技法的。然后它是整个都是有泡棉的，包覆泡棉，直接在外面是包覆泡棉的时候，然后外面就可以去做这个封布或封皮。
So originally, like I say, it was one-piece steel frame fabric. You pull it over, you zip it up in the back. We even kept the detail of where the zipper used to be on the back. There is no zipper anymore because it's all fully glued, but it just so that it looks exactly like it did when it first came out in 1973.
因为这个椅子是1970年的时候就有，它是有一个拉链这样，所以那个时候是不同的，也没有的泡棉。但现在有，然后又可以用不同的布还有菱格纹去表现出的。那他们呢，在后面就是我们看那个底部的地方有一条线，其实这个不是 Z， 可是不是那个拉链，可是它刻意保留在那，就是希望说它可以跟1970年刚出来的时候是一模一样的，虽然材质不同。
And there you see what it's that profile from the side as well. I'll just quickly leaf through all this because there's a lot of products that you guys don't do, and we're running out of time and everything else. I'll quickly leaf through all these. These are some mirror sculptures on the wall that he did, designed 50 years ago. The mirror throw. So these are the mirror sculptures. that he designed 50 years ago. And he was very much into not just furniture and lighting, but graphics and so on. So he did a lot of wallpaper and rugs, and these mirror sculptures is another piece of what he did. So this particular design he used in many different things.
那就是除了这个产品设计啊、工业设计啊、室内设计的部分，其实他是本人也非常喜欢平面设计，所以呢，他有很多的这个壁纸，还有地毯。那我们现在要介绍这个产品呢是织毯，但是这个织毯呢是源自于它的这个雕塑品。我们刚刚前面看到一个很漂亮的这个几何雏形的这个镜面的这个 mirror scope 是它的这个雕塑品，然后透过这个光影有不同的这个就透过光影的折射跟这个雕塑品呈现非常漂亮。那它将这个概念转换成这个织毯。
So the mirror throws that we have here is another product that you have. It's a blanket basically in 100% merino wool. We've got 3 different colors in stock, and inside, there's in the box. You have 4 in the box, and inside, instead of being in like a plastic bag inside, they all come in a tote bag like this inside to give to your customers.
那当然，这个织毯有的时候都是在盒子里面的。不过呢，他们为这个织毯竟然特别设计了一个我们刚刚看到的一个购物袋，就是亚麻袋，好听点的说法。然后呢，你就可以把那个织毯放到亚麻袋里面给你的客人。
And then 3 different colors. I can't remember which colors you have, but anyway. We also do rugs, the Pantone rug, Spiegel rug, mirror rug, and Luna rug. The Pantone rugs, the top one, the round ones you have, and the bottom ones you will have as well. The rugs are all New Zealand wool, hand tufted. They are made in India, but they're made by a Danish company in India under the Care Fair program. So they do have the Care Fair label underneath.
这个 mirror throw 就是这个织毯的部分呢，它是马尼拉羊毛。那我们现在看到是地毯的部分。地毯的话，我们进的这个图片的第一个跟最后一个就是这个Pantone Color， 还有下面这个 Luna 这2个织毯圆形的，那也是着重在这个色彩的表现。那这个呢，全部都是由纽西兰的羊毛所做的这个触毛绒地毯，那全部都是在印度做的，但是呢，却是在一个丹麦的地毯的公司，就是丹麦地毯公司在印度，所以不是印度公司，是丹麦的公司，只是工厂设置在印度。那所以他们里面，因为印度有这个童工还有非法劳工的问题，所以他们是有合法的去聘雇这个劳工，对，所以他们符合的当地的这个一些法规，对。
And those are the products that you guys have from us so far. I'm hoping for a lot more, obviously. I will very quickly just leaf through some of the other products that we have and just show you that the Pantopop outdoor chair, I won't show you this, the Bar Boy, which you actually may recognize. This used to be a Vitra product. So we took over from Vitra 4 years ago. And it's a beautiful sort of multi-purpose unit. And Vitra always had lots of inquiries for it, but they couldn't sell it because it was too expensive. They now buy it from us, and they actually sell more. Vitra sells more of these now. They buy them from us, and they sell more now than when they had it themselves, because now the price is right.
这个呢，就是有些人有点眼熟。我们看到这个刚刚看到的发过的那个，就是可以推车的推车柜子圆形的。其实呢，这原本是 Vitra 旗下的商品。对，那4年前呢，他们把这个就是 license right 授权又买回来，所以呢，就是又由他们生产制作这样。那其实呢，Vitra 卖到，其实原本是热卖品，可是因为价格提高的关系，后来 Vitra 就卖得多好。那他们生产制作以后呢，又开始卖得很好，甚至也许 Vitra 也有在销售那个 Bar Boy， 可是不是 Vitra 自己生产制作的，是 Verpan 生产制作的。对，可是呢，现在呢，却反而比在 Vitra 品牌旗下的时候还要卖得更好。原因是因为这价格变得比较合理，所以就卖得非常的好。对，那因为前面呢就是介绍说我们这是引进的商品，后面呢就让大家看看说，它其实还有户外家居系列啊，还有这个 Bar Boy 啊等等。就让我们看一下说 Verpan 它其实整个品牌旗下有什么东西。那我们没有全集合 根据跟最相关就是 long chair。
Last one I want to tell you a little bit about is the cloverleaf sofa. This is one of the original cloverleaf sofas from 1969, and this is Mariana and Verpan in one of those. And this product was never put into production. It was done for one of the Visioner exhibition, one of the old vintage pictures I showed you, but they only made 6 or 7 of these prototypes for that. And 3.5 years ago, we got a phone call from Prada. So the Prada family have one of the original prototypes at home, and they wanted to use it in some of their Prada stores.
现在我们跟大家介绍的是 Close 沙发，虽然我们没有引进，但是Kate 本人还蛮想跟我们介绍一下这个产品的。我们头中刚刚看到有点灰黑白的颜色的这个 Close 沙发是它的原型，那我们看到那个Miami跟瑞士的东西在这上面。这椅子呢，当初是因为我们刚刚有讲说，它不是每个东西都有生产制作，可是它会去参考它的原型。那原型哪来的？就是以前不是会有一些展览嘛，所以像这个 Close Sofa 其实是替某个 exhibition 做的。那当初呢，只做了7、8个，就是展览用。对，那可能有些有钱人就去收藏啊，或者变成博物馆的藏品之类的。那一直到几年前，3年半前呢，就收到这个Prada 名字的电话 ，Prada 就讲说，我想要这个什么，所以可以生产这个嘛。因此呢，因为那为什么他想要这个沙发？因为他自己本人收藏的1张prototype，就是7、8张里面他自己有1张，所以他就跟他讲说，我这有这个原型，要不然你可以帮他生产制作嘛。所以是因为 Prada 关系，他又变成了这个 Verpan 旗下的一个商品，然后他们就就把它导入制成。
So Prada called us up and asked if they can come and visit us, and of course you don't say no to Prada. So 2 guys flew up to Denmark in a private jet, Prad 1, and we picked them up from the airport, and long story short, we're now putting it into almost every single Prada store around the world.
那因为那时候接到 Prada 电话，也不可能拒绝 Prada， 所以而且 Prada 他们就是想说我要就是要求就是跟 Verpan 他们约说要去工厂看看，所以呢就 Prada 派2个人。他们就去机场接他，然后去 Verpan 看，然后就决定下订单要制作这样。那之后呢，就是几乎全球 Prada 的这个showroom里面呢，都会放这一张沙发。
It's the first time ever that Prada is putting a product into their shops that they haven't designed themselves. Prada paid for the product development, they paid for everything. It was exclusive to Prada for the first 2 years. And a year and a half ago, we opened it up and made it available for others, and it's now our best-selling product.
Prada 真的非常喜欢 Verpan， 因为当初就是你做产品开发，其实是要有一些开发费，这笔钱是 Prada 出的。那所以呢，这个商品刚推出来的前2年呢，就是 Prada exclusive， 是不对外公开贩售的，只卖给这个 Prada 公司。对，所以前2年并没有对外销售，所以等于说3年半前制作也是说直到最近才开始对外贩售的，所以这以前是这个 Prada 的专属商品。
We thought we would only ever sell this for contract and not to private residents. But we do. We sell a lot to private residents. And I think it's the Prada connection. People see it in Prada and then they want it. So, for instance, Harrods in London, there's a big Prada shop in there with the cloverleaf sofas. And then just upstairs in the Prada, in the Verpan area, in the furniture shop, they sell a lot of the cloverleaf sofas for private people that see it in there. So we sell a lot to private residents as well.
那大家看到这个沙发呢，可能就是会觉得说，这沙发可能是伤痛空间比较适用，可能是就像在保养修路或什么。他说其实没有，当这个产品后来正式推出对外销售之后，其实呢没有想到在这个居家空间也卖得非常非常的好，所以在 residence 这一块也是非常有市场的。那刚刚有没有跟大家提到是为什么特别去提到的是，通常他们会请，就是这些品牌会请别人做设计嘛。那但是呢，这个却是由精品品牌还有 Prada 经营这么久来第一次自己要求说，我一定要有这个商品放在我的show room，是他自己要求，然后是他自己去制造这个公司去设计，本来就有设计，就是再去推出再去生产这样子，所以。他就想说，有可能是因为这个沙发是Verpan设计的，然后加上这个 Prada 因为比如讲说像在欧洲曝光率是很高，那个当然在欧洲应该在其他科技应该都是还蛮显眼的，就是比如说像这哈罗德，那这种哈罗百货公司的这个 Prada 的这个showroom呢，里面也是用这个 close 手法，所以意外的就是可能因为 Prada 关系，这个沙发其实呢，在这个居家空间也卖的非常，也卖的还蛮不错。
And that's it. That's all I've got. Unless there's any questions. No.
以上就是今天的介绍结束了。Q&A 时间，大家有没有什么其他的问题？
刚刚 Tim 其实在特别介绍产品的同时，也有用销售的一个观点，特别提醒大家，Verpan 原厂对于商品出货或者对客人使用上一些比较贴心的事情，这些都是以后可以跟客人沟通。那等到大家实际看到商品，如果还有其他问题的话，就可以再随时再没有给问题。那我们今天就谢谢 Tim 给我们带来的教育。
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, yes, please. Thank you.